The Apothecary Shop, located in Westborough, just a short walk from the Westborough market stalls. The shop is owned and ran by Miss O'Driscoll, a very kind but eccentric older middle-aged woman who was known to be a bit of a recluse. Miss O'Driscoll came into ownership of the shop and its properties through her late father, who died over 30 years ago. Being the only child and without a husband, she was legally able to inherit and become the sole owner of the business. As a child and throughout her life, Miss O'Driscoll was taught by her father the ways of traditional but more primitive medicines, the same lessons his mother, her grandmother, had passed down to him. Lessons involving the use of herbs through botany, harvesting, mixing, grinding, brewing, salves, remedies, and potion making. The city's contemporary male physicians, whose medical practices seemed to be reserved for only the rich and those who could afford their costly fees, frowned and looked down on her treatments and her methods, and would often refer to her as a witch. But, in truth, Miss O'Driscoll was a healer for the common folk, treating all kinds of ailments, from headaches, stomach aches, gout, jaundice, ringworms, pregnancy pains, deafness, baldness, infections, and heartbreak, and the occasional morning hangover, alongside a list of other things. Miss O'Driscoll would rarely ever turn any soul away in need of some form of treatment, in many cases even providing her services for free to those much too poor and too sickly to pay for or provide her with a service in exchange at a loss in her own personal income. Alright, welcome back guys, and I hope you guys sincerely enjoyed that. As you guys can see, this little area here has completely changed since the time lapse. And yeah, if you guys remember in the last episode we did, when we did the candle makers workshop right here, I've told you guys that I may go ahead and add the buildings in the back and just make them an extension of that workshop. And that's what I went ahead and did, because our candle maker makes a lot of candles, so I thought he probably need a little bit more space to work with. As you can see, stepping inside, I just kept it really simple, just some extra vats of hot wax, and we can see some candles hanging up there, just to give you guys a send the point home that this is in fact part of the candle maker's workshop. But moving on to this next building here, I want to show you guys real quick. Now this is the candle maker's kind of his storage warehouse, where he stores all his supplies, his wax, and maybe tools. And then we have this pulley up there connected to the rafters, that when you come up, you know, you would attach whatever you want to pull up here, and you would just haul it up and, you know, set it down. And I thought it was a really cool design idea. It's really simple, but, you know, it works, and I'm happy with how that turned out. And moving on, we do also have this building here that looks really cool. We're not going to check it out today, because we're only going to be focusing on the builds that we did in the time lapse, which is that structure back here, and this building here, which is the main residence, or like the living quarters of our herbalist, our apothecary store owner. And then of course, we're gonna be looking at the apothecary store itself here. And now I went with a really simple design. I tried to change it up a little bit by adding this pink peach kind of stucco, and then make it look kind of worn and kind of lived in, or just withered, I should say. I really like how it looked. It's real simple and all that good stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and check it out. So let's go ahead and make our way inside. As you can see, Really cool look, I think. I really love the design. It's sort of like a kitchen slash shop front. Obviously very intentional. Used a lot of reference from the Apothecary Shops in the game Kingdom Come Deliverance to kind of pull inspiration for the design I wanted to go with, and I came up with something I'm really happy with. As you see, we have the cooking station here. So Miss O'Driscoll would come here and she would be boiling and cooking and mixing and grinding plants. We have this little keg there where it's maybe filled with water or maybe some fluid that would use as the base for her potions and remedies. As you can see, we have bottles of remedies and like little bags that may contain chopped up or diced up, crushed up herbs or plants. I really tried to stage it with everything that she would need would be at arm's length, and she could just grab and just keep making things. As you see right here, we have a little recipe book where she can refer to or even write down notes when she come up with a new kind of salve or remedy or potion, and generally just make it feel like a pharmaceutical kind of place. Everything is kind of out where if a customer comes in and wants a certain type of potion or remedy, she could just grab something that she's already made from the counters or from the shelves and just sell it to that patron, and they'll be off on their own merry way. And so you guys, that's pretty much it. That's our Apothecary Shop here. Not much else to see, so we're gonna go ahead and move on and check out some of the other builds in this episode. So let's go ahead and head on back. And now this building would be next, but we're gonna go ahead and save Miss O'Driscoll's home for last, and we're gonna go ahead and check out this build right here first, our greenhouse in the garden area. Now, coming on back here, you guys remember this in the time lapse. Now this is mushrooms and some nettles and nightshade plants growing back here amongst other types. And now these are poisonous plants that you need to know what you're doing to handle them. And fortunately, Miss O'Driscoll knows just how to handle them and how to cook them and mix them to come up with the best results and come up with her potions that can actually help the body instead of harming it. And stepping inside, we come into the greenhouse, and I really love this design. I really had to kind of figure out how I really wanted this to look and make it practical in the lore of my world. As you see, we didn't use any glass. We just left the roof open, so when it does rain and sunlight can just get to the plants just naturally. And of course, there's lots of plants and stuff back here that she's cultivating on her own and keeping it going to fuel her business. And so I thought that was a pretty cool idea to add something like that, and it makes sense. But now it's time to go ahead and check out Miss O'Driscoll's living quarters, or her her home, I should say. And now stepping in, one thing I want you guys to kind of notice is I did my best to kind of make it feel like it has a feminine touch to it. You can see a lot of plants and kind of more feminine touches of decorations all around the room here. So right here, she has her little teapot on her little side table with a chair right by her cozy fire there. We have plants on the wall up there alongside that wreath, and maybe that picture is a picture of her or when she was younger, or maybe even her grandmother or something like that, or our mom. She has a table here where she can prepare and sit down and have her meals as well. Some bookshelves for specialized books, maybe books on botany and or just maybe literature that she likes to read while she's sitting by that fire. And then moving on back, we come this way. We have this divider, or I believe it's called a petition, that kind of separates this room, because if she ever does have over guests and maybe she wanted to like freshen up after work, wash the dirt off, she can open that up to give herself some privacy, so she could take a little bath right here in her little tub right by her bed and stuff like that. I really love how this room came out. Everything in this area, in this building, is all that she needs, all that she owns as far as what she needs to have in a home. She has a nice bed. She has a mirror here to kind of look at herself in. I thought that was a nice little feminine touch as well. Yeah, we got plants hanging from the ceiling, from the rafters there. Really cool woodworking going on with those beams up there. Just really practical. I think the room came out. Again, everything that she needs is in here. Nothing more, nothing less. And I'm really happy with how this build turned out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode just as much as I enjoyed putting it together for you guys. And so you guys, that wraps up this portion of the city of Westborough. And in the next episode, we're going to be moving on over to the East Borough district slash some of Midborough, where the buildings get a little bit more luxurious and more fancy. And I hope you guys stick around and come back to join me for that, because it's going to be real cool. As always, if you guys enjoyed the content, like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, I bid you a farewell.